I'm not even gonna wait because it's yummy and I want it. Today we are making my butter Cajun injected turkey. We do thick slices at my house. We don't do thin slices. Hey everybody, it's Danielle Bennett, also known as Diva Q, and we are here in the Traeger kitchen, and I'm really stoked once again to be introducing another turkey recipe. And today we are making my butter Cajun injected turkey. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna spatchcock this entire beautiful turkey, and we are going to inject it with a Cajun butter. Now, doesn't that sound delicious? That with a wood-fired kiss is gonna give us all that goodness that we really, really love at the holiday time. Now, a couple things. This is the rub that I'm using today. This is my Cajun rub, and this doesn't have a ton of salt in it, so it's pretty low on the salt factor. But one of the great things about it is that we actually powdered it up, okay? So this rub is nicely powdered. Once it's powdered up, I've got it split. There's some in this shaker that we're gonna be seasoning the turkey with, and then we've got it in the cup because we're actually going to add something to it. We're gonna add some clarified butter, and that's gonna be our injection. Clarified butter is back here on the induction cooktop. So this is clarified butter, everybody. And clarified butter has all of the milk solids kind of removed from it. And what that does is it allows us to use it in injection needles and other applications so it doesn't clog up the injector. And I think that's really, really important. So when we have our butter like this, we're gonna mix it with this powdered Cajun rub. And this is gonna give us our beautiful injection. We're gonna set it to the side. We're gonna let it cool down to about room temperature. And then we're gonna get to the injecting of our turkey after we spatchcock it. So we're gonna carefully pour in enough butter. So right around about a cup or so we don't need all of that. We'll set that to the side. And as you can see, it actually starts to meld in. So you want to give it a little whisk. Now, injections like this add big, bold flavors to the turkey. And one of the key things for me is to give us as much flavor as possible. So in this Cajun injection, we've got lots of flavors, garlic, onion, we've got some goodness going on. And the best part about it is that because we powdered the rub up, it actually will go through the injection needle. And you wanna make sure you have an injection needle that's big enough, okay, and thick enough so the needle will take that injection. This one's a really heavy duty steel one. It's perfect for this application. It's got one hole at the end, which is great. And that's gonna be a perfect vessel for us to get this injection into our turkey once it's spatchcocked. Spatchcocking a turkey, you're gonna have a big cutting board. You want a nice solid cutting board. Tip number one, get rid of your big rings, those gorgeous big Traeger rings. I'm gonna get some gloves on. And we're gonna go through the entire spatchcocking process of this turkey. When you spatchcock a turkey, what you're doing is allowing the turkey to take more smoke on because you're actually flattening it out. Additionally, you're gonna give it an opportunity to have much more moisture because of the consistency of thickness, more so across the top. And then of course, texture. You're gonna get more crispy bits and great roasted Traeger flavor on there as well. So nice solid cutting board, a couple of tools I'm gonna use, heavy duty scissors, okay? This is not a lightweight pair of scissors, so really heavy duty scissors. I've got a super sharp knife and nice stable working area, okay? Now, let's talk turkey, shall we? So this is a completely thawed out turkey, okay? I just wanna show you what it looks like all the way around. This is an organic, anywhere from 9 to 12 pound turkey, which is my favorite size to use. I would rather cook 2 9 to 12 pound turkeys than one massive 26 pound turkey. I think overall you'll get better skin, you'll get better results. Cooking time is much shorter and overall a better result. Organic means that you also have usually much better skin on your turkeys. It's a little thinner. It actually, I think it takes on the smoke better, in all honesty, because it doesn't have such a huge underlying layer of fat underneath. And it's a better size, it's easier to utilize. If you've got all of the interior parts, you've got your gizzards, your livers, all the things, put those aside, chop them up fine, cook them with your stuffing. It's a really good suggestion. For today, we're just gonna put them to the side and not utilize them. Now, on our cutting board, we've got our beautiful big turkey. It's nice and solid, and we're putting the turkey legs towards you, everybody, okay? Wings away, legs towards. Now, spatchcocking is a really simple process, but it does take a little more heft when it's a turkey, okay? So I'm gonna grab my super sharp knife, holding it by the wing. Come and give yourself a little pathway. And so then we're kind of giving ourselves just a little place that we know we're going to be cutting. And we're going to do it on both sides. Just like that. And take your time with this, okay? So when we spatchcock, we're cutting right behind the turkey thigh. We're going to go right up behind the wing. And usually it's a bit of a challenge on a turkey because the bigger the turkey is, the harder the bones are to crack through. It's totally satisfying though, as well, okay? So here's your scissors. Take your turkey and you're gonna start cutting. Crunch, 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 everybody. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Crunch, crunch, crunch. And I love that sound. All right, so once you have that one side done, you're gonna move over to the other side. And this is where you wanna really hold it nice and tight. Satisfying crunch as always. And now when you get up here, cut that whole backbone out. Now, here we have an almost spatchcock turkey. We've got the backbone out. Let's do a little bit of cleanup and get this flattened out. Take your knife, come to the very center, press down just a little bit onto that apex right there. And you see I've got about I'm gonna say about an inch notch in there. When you have that notch in there, just wiggle your knife back and forth, okay? And then pull your knife back out. And that'll make it a lot easier to do that, okay? And I love the crunch. I truly do. All right, so we're getting there, we're getting there. So now let's go in and do a little bit of cleanup work, shall we? And by cleanup work, I mean this. At the bottom here, we've got the thighs facing towards us. We've got the wings facing away from us. We're gonna do some tidy work under here. So I've got some excess skin and I've got some excess fat here. Come through with your scissors, tidy it up a bit. Remove that excess skin all the way across, right from the bottom of your thighs, just like that. Once again, good for the stock pot the next day, good for soup making, put it to the side. At the top here, you know, at the very top of where the top of the breast is, you'll always notice that there's a ton of extra skin here. I always like to do a bit of trim work. Just go across with your scissors or a very sharp knife. Once again, lots of flavor in there, good for the soup pot, not so good leaving it up there. Other than that, take a look at the inside. If there's anything untowards or unseemly, anything that's kind of hanging out that you don't like, leave it out of there. If you want, you can cut apart that bone. You don't need to. Then on the other side, we're just gonna take a look, make sure everything's nice and neat and tidy. Anything that's like left over, kind of hanging out, or away from the turkey, cut those little bits off. We want this to be a really, really pretty turkey because remember, this is gonna be the showcase of your entire Traeger Thanksgiving meal. So we want it to look really good. Now, last thing I'm gonna do before I start seasoning and injecting this is I'm gonna take my wings. Now, if you leave the wings all floppy like this, they're gonna get way too crispy for me personally. So I always like to take the wings, pop them behind the breast, just like that. Once again, take your wing, hello, and tuck it behind the breast. That's gonna keep it nice and tight to the breast. It's also gonna keep it more moist. Overall, a better flavor in general. Now, that is the presentation side. This is how it's actually gonna go onto the grill. So we actually start by seasoning this side first, okay? So you always want to season the underside of your bird first and then finish with the injection and the seasoning flipped over. So, contaminated glove coming off. I'm gonna leave it there for today. I've got some salt here. So we're gonna generously salt the underside of our turkey, just like that. And then we're gonna go back and we've placed our Cajun rub nice and neatly inside of a shaker. This makes the application just so much easier, okay? So, generously season. Smells fantastic. And this is the same rub that's in the injection. So we're literally just mirroring the flavors on the underside. Beautifully seasoned, just like that. Give it a little pat down. All right, we're gonna flip it back over. Okay, so we are just about ready to inject our bird. All right, so our lovely Cajun butter injection has cooled down to room temperature. Just giving it another whisk with the fork. Got my injection needle. And we are going to get it all filled up with that goodness. Once again, you need to make sure you have an injection needle that has a big enough needle on it to actually take that butter and the Cajun rub in there. And let's talk about how to inject a bird. One of the things is that I want you to imagine an imaginary like checkerboard all over this. We don't want to miss a portion. So I actually take time to inject the wings. I go in lovely little squares and consistently across there. I go all through the thighs and the legs. And this is what I would really highly recommend. And remember, we want a Cajun flavored, buttery bird of goodness, okay? So first injection, gonna go in the wing, okay? Now, here's the other thing. You always want to make multiple small injections versus big ones. So you don't want to depress the whole plunger in there, just a little bit. Move the needle back, just a little bit. Move the needle back, just a little bit, okay? These are tiny little injections. Because of this, if you go in right like that and you depress the whole plunger, you're gonna literally see a bubble form on top of your turkey. We don't want that to happen. So, little injections are the way to go. Little injection, little injection, little injection. Now on the back, in the drumette part, little injection, little injection, little injection, little injection. Remember, I haven't even gone through this whole plunger yet, and my wings are just about done, okay? Now, on the breast. Start at the top, little injection, little injection, little injection. And as you come and depress that, and it comes out, take your hand and just wipe it, because it's buttery Cajun goodness. And, you know, putting that all over a bird is not a bad idea. And you want to be going just in the meat. Let's go fill it up again. So we've got the breasts all injected. Look at that butter. Literally, it sets on top of that turkey and it's gorgeous. And now let's go into our thighs. Into the thigh. And then into our legs. Oh, and let's get the last of this. All right. Into those legs. All right. I think we have a very well evenly injected bird. And we don't have any big clumps, okay? We don't have any big humps on there. We've got a beautifully seasoned bird. And then whatever's left in here, here's a tip. Take this in your hands, spread it all over, okay? I'm gonna get rid of my tools, just like that. So whatever butter and injection is left over, get it all over your turkey, just like that. It smells glorious, by the way. Okay. And then come in with your rub at the last minute. And we're gonna season it all the way through. And what a pretty bird this is gonna make on the grill. And notice I've tried to smooth out that skin as much as possible. Get lots of that Cajun flavor in there. And of course, some of that's gonna come off during the cooking process, but we've gotten as much flavor as we possibly could. The last step before you go to the grill, and your grill should be preheating right now, is to utilize this. One of the biggest challenges that people have is knowing when their turkey is done and not overcooking it. We want all that delicious wood-fired flavor to get in our turkey, and we also want a super moist turkey. So, meter probe, you wanna go into the thickest part of the breast, you wanna go in on a bit of an angle, and you don't wanna touch bone. So, there's a little line on that meter probe right there, okay? You wanna make sure you get down to that, go on an angle, thickest part of the breast, right there, everybody. Get the notifications set up on your phone. And one of the key things is, it's time to go to the grill with this. All right, our station's completely cleaned up magically. It's amazing how that happens here. And of course, it's time to go to the grill. So, turkey's ready, meter probe is in there, the grill is rolling. Let's go to the grill, shall we? Oh, and it is a hefty one. So, grab that up, put it on very carefully without touching the other one. Flat down, we're gonna grab our really, really big spatula. Because if you're gonna make turkey on the grill, or you wanna make some good barbecue, you need a good spatula. So, this is a good one. All right, and we're gonna carefully transfer this beautiful bird to our clean cutting board, and we're gonna close the grill. All right, so our turkey has just come off, and while it's resting, I wanna talk about temperatures and how we actually cook the bird. Now, we know we spatchcocked it. We've got that beautiful Cajun seasoning in there. We've got the meter probe in there. One of the key things that I love about, honestly, using a Traeger grill is the fact that I can do a smoked turkey. That's 225 to 250 degrees, or I can do a roasted turkey, 350 to 375, or like I really actually prefer to do, a smoke roasted turkey. So oftentimes I'll actually start my turkeys at 225 degrees for a couple of hours. And one of the things that allows you to do is to get that wood-fired goodness in there. Now, pellets and pellet selection is kind of really important, especially for turkey and chickens, because the poultry categories actually take in smoke more than any other type of protein. So here's what I use. And no joke, I hoard these, okay? If you came to my house right now, okay, I would always have multiple bags of Traeger turkey pellets. I love these. I think that this is like the best blend ever. So we've got the herbage, remember, we've got a little bit of rosemary in there. We've got the maple, we've got the hickory. I think it's the best blend ever for turkeys. And in fact, I keep it for other poultry throughout the rest of the year because I don't just cook turkey at the holidays, I cook it year round. So that's my preferred pellet. Now, all total, this bird today took about 3.5 hours to cook because after I smoked it for about 1.5 hours, 2 hours, I actually then increased the temperature to 350 degrees. See, that gives me this texture. So this little bit of crispiness on the outside. And I think that that's a better flavor overall and texture that gives you this wonderful, delicious turkey mouthfeel with the wood-fired flavor that you get from the smoking session at the beginning. Now, in order for us to get this turkey done at the right temperature, to the right temperature in the breast and the thigh and all the things, our meter probe is gonna let us know when it reaches 165 degrees. That is ideal for turkeys. So your turkey is then perfectly cooked to the right temperature, with the right flavor, the right texture. And then the next thing to do is to carve this beautiful bird up. So in order to carve this turkey, first thing out, take your meter probe out. Next, grab yourself a nice, clean, sharp knife right behind the thigh. Okay, pull that out just like that. Take your knife right behind that leg, cut straight down. Look at that prettiness right there. So we've got our leg, we've got a big thigh. Turn your bird a bit, take your knife again, right behind the thigh, open it up, and then once again, cutting right there. And how do you know where to cut? Well, there's a joint right in the middle right there that you want to pull apart. And if you just go right in between it, super easy to cut, okay? And look at this, while I was cutting that, I just want to show this because I love this part. Look at how beautifully rendered out that turkey skin is. It's super crispy on the outside, all the fat's rendered out. And that to me, look at that. It's like a turkey chip. It's delightful goodness, okay? I'm not even gonna wait because it's yummy and I want it. So now we have our two beautiful legs, we've got our thighs. Then, here is the deal. We're gonna take the wings off. Right there, notch it. And then what I want to show you is there's so much juice going on in here from the injection, okay? That you want to take it, you want to take your knife, and you want to roll it back and forth because it's a little harder to cut than a regular like chicken. And you've got your wing. Now, do it again on this side. Notch your knife behind that wing, pull it apart. And you can see the joint right there, okay? And you want to go right behind that joint, right behind that joint right there, okay? Notch it back and forth. I always have a hard time finding it, so I always play with it a bit. There we go, just like that. Now, we've got all our parts, okay? And I'm gonna put them on the tray in a minute, but let's talk about this breast now, okay? I hate it when people cut breasts like this because the first slice gets all the skin, and that's just not fair, people. It's really not fair. I'm all about equal skin distribution on turkeys, okay? So what I like to do, take my knife, come down the center, okay? Take my thumb, pop it under, and you're gonna pull that breast right off the carcass, just like that, okay? So then I've got one breast, turn it around, other side, once again, pulling it off, and you can see the injection right there. Oh, so much flavor, so much flavor. Now, we've got our two breasts, we've got our carcass, perfect for soup tomorrow. Okay, now, we have our breasts, we have our legs, we have our thighs. I'm gonna start dressing my platter. Okay, thinking about presentation, I'm gonna put a leg there, I'm gonna put a leg there, a thigh there, a thigh here, I'm gonna put a wing here, and I'm gonna put a wing here. Set that in there. Let's set that in there like that. Now we've got our beautiful turkey breasts, and I am going to cut nice slices of this beautiful turkey breast. So full of flavor, and it's so moist. So moist. Oh my God, you can see the cutting board, right? All right, put our little skin pieces back up on there, just like that. And then we take our turkey breast, make it all zhuzh pretty. Take our knife, and we're gonna put that right there. Beautiful. Same thing here. Come in, cut some beautiful slices on this. We do thick slices at my house. We don't do thin slices. That crispy skin on the outside so that everybody gets to share in that. Oh, look at that beauty. It smells fantastic. All right, we're gonna take that, pop our knife underneath there. We're gonna tuck that right in there. And then because we have Cajun in there, I'm gonna take some lemons. I'm gonna jazz it up a bit like that. And then I'm gonna add in some greenery. You can also use kale, but I like the parsley because it doesn't give off a big, strong smell. Big fan of that. There you go. Turkey platter 101. All right, we're all cleaned up again, and this is, of course, my favorite part. I get to taste. So we've got some beautiful, delicious Cajun injected turkey. It's moist, it's succulent, tons of flavor in this turkey, and I love the fact that it's an injected recipe. So for this recipe, check out below. Make sure you get that recipe. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Go across all of our social channels at Traeger Grills. And of course, we want you to have the best Traeger Thanksgiving ever.